This video looks at the radio-ulnar joint. So this is a small joint just beneath your elbow, sort of at the top of your forearm. Gets quite confused with the elbow or wrist movements if you're not careful. So we've got to make sure it's isolated. So again, we're looking at what movements happen at the radio-ulnar joint and what muscles cause that movement. There are only two movements you need to know, pronation and supination. Both are rotational movements. So let's look at the examples first of all. So down here we can see quite a nice diagram because it shows the position of the two bones. The radius is the lateral bone here. So this is the radius and this is the ulnar, the slightly bigger bone. Now the ulnar actually forms the elbow joint with the humerus. The radius does not. So the radius is not involved in the elbow joint. It's the ulnar and the humerus. But what you can just about see on the diagram, it's not perfect for it, is that the radia is connected or jointed with the ulnar, sort of sideways there. Now that is a pivot joint. Rotation happens at that joint. So you can see from this bottom diagram, the radius is parallel to the ulnar here, but when muscles pull around, the radius kind of crosses over the top. It's twisted or rotated, and you can see what happens down here. You go from this open palm position to this pronated position where your palm is down. So from there to there is pronation. From there back to this original position is supination. So when you have palm down, it's pronation, to palm up is supination, and that would be my clue for you to remember. So let's look at this one. When you rotate at the radio-ulnar joint so that your palm is facing up, like this one, it's supination. So remember, as if you're carrying some soup, a bowl of soup, or your palm is up. I tend to remember up is supination. So forearm rotates so that the hand moves from facing down to facing up, supination. The easy thing with this though is the muscles are called supinators. So you can see when this supinator muscle pulls, it will rotate the arm so that it's the forearm so that the palm is up. So forearm supinators are the agonists for radio-ulnar supination. Nearly logically, pronation is the opposite to that. So this is pronation when you turn your forearm, your radio-ulnar joint, so that your palm is facing down. You could also call this sort of medial rotation. You could call supination lateral rotation and pronation medial rotation towards the middle, towards the inside. The agonist that causes pronation, you can see them here. Well, actually, there are a few muscles, but the pronators is the easiest thing to remember. Pronator teres is a specific pronator muscle. So supinators, pronator teres, supination, pronation. These two movements are rotational movements, so we know by rule that these happen in the transverse plane.